What is up, world? I'm JD, and this is If You Know, You Know the show where we bring you healing conversations to help you understand yourself, because once you understand yourself, it's a little bit easier to understand the world. Obviously, you know, the amazing Kai is here, mouthing everything I say. I may even just use her face. But Kai is here. Kai, how are you?
I'm amazing.
You're still single in the summer.
I'm
still single in the summer, working it out, right?
We are, it's officially summer now. We are excited.
Right. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth and all those good things. But today, we are going to be discussing when is it time to start dating again and some of the things that you go through when you get back into dating. But that's what the show's about.
Let's get into
before that,
things you should know.
Things you should know.
I have the sauce. This is...
It's a pretty bottle.
Yes. It's hair, beard, and body butter. Shea butter. Yes.
I see it.
Smell it. So good. It is from the jungle, the 718 jungle. Oh, yes. It is the sauce. Come on, hand model. Mm-hmm. I love it. You can find them on Instagram at the jungle number 718, the word store.
That does smell nice. What is this?
Black owned, woman owned business.
Got hair
completely vegan. That's mine.
No, you're
my
right.
hair.
Like, I'm putting my finger all in her thing. Well,
yeah.
That ain't. I'm using her
all
lotion.
In the sauce.
And I even asked.
He did not.
And judging her
it is great.
Why you got hair in your lotion?
And this one has, it is all natural ingredients because my skin is very sensitive. And I literally can't just use anything. This has mango butter, cocoa butter, capasu butter, coconut oil, rosehip oil, vegan MSM powder, vitamin E oil, argan oil, jojoba oil, olive oil, cucumber oil, and water lily oil. So check this out. Free. You get shipping. Let them know I sent you, and the sauce.
Where's the website? You said the website?
Yes, the Instagram is at the at the jungle number 718, the word store. It's for your beard too. Ooh.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Smells good, right?
That's why you saw me getting into it.
Yeah, and it's super. It just feels like a coat of just like.
Put that in there.
Like I said, Black-owned business, woman-owned business out of Atlanta, Georgia.
That's nice. Because like I said in the last episode, a lot of things I do, like I start doing because women may like it.
Right.
So you got to keep your face smelling nice. For the up-close moments.
Right.
Well, and
what do you got for us, JD?
What you should know is yourself. I wanted to go back to one of my favorite quotes. I think I did this early in our podcasting career, but knowing yourself, and once you understand yourself, you're powerful. Once you accept yourself, you are invincible. So know who you are, understand who you are, and no one can touch you. No one can tell you who you are or judge you or make you feel any kind of way. It is good to listen. Yep. But at the same time, I know my spirit, I know what I'm trying to do, and I know my intentions.
Right.
And no one can take that away from me. So
bam, bam.
Know yourself.
You heard it here first, y'all. All right.
Flag on the play. All right, flag on the play. I'm doing flag on the play on this one because I was so enthralled in this trial. Did you guys watch the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial? I said it backwards because I get tired of saying Johnny Depp because it feels like I'm already on his side, which I am. Do you think that there was domestic abuse leading up to the relationship?
Signs of that, yeah.
And I say definitely flag on the play. Like there was no domestic abuse in that relationship at all from him. So it was from her, but here's why, right? So first, it's just I studied psychology in college. I thought I wanted to be a therapist.
Nice.
I do actually. It was just a lot of reading, and,
right.
and I'm like,
that?
oh god, like another theory,
audiobooks,
another theory.
Right.
So, but just seeing him, he was obviously abused by a woman as a kid. I think it was his mom, and he's kind of dealing with that trauma through drugs. He's clearly a drug addict,
right?
And I believe that was tough for her to handle. And I think through that pain, she probably does feel some hurt. And I think to try to get back at him, you start throwing extras on that, which I tagged a new phrase. When you're Amber Hearding it, you throwing on the extras.
Right.
You throwing on the extras. Like you trip and fall, but you tell your friends you trip and fell and then got hit by a car and then the police had to come.
Right.
And then they had to bail you out of jail. Like That's
Yes.
Amber Heard in it. So I completely say yes. Flag
Yes.
on the play.
And the foul is on.
Amber Heard.
Boom.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think that,
All right, I'm done.
yes, there were probably signs
Mm-hmm.
that this relationship should not have evolved into a marriage.
Right.
I also feel that, I think Johnny Depp, like you said, is a person who's dealing with trauma and is, and to put it on him that he should have known better, it would be unrealistic.
I would definitely say they're definitely two broken people. She is broken in the way that she doesn't even understand.
Right.
Because I think she has been, her whole life, she's been able to play the victim and be the pretty
Right.
white girl that's privileged and, put a little extras on the story and someone says,
Right.
oh, it's okay.
The Karens of the world.
Right. And I think she did too much.
Right.
And that's why I really felt excited to watch her get obliterated because
Right.
you could clearly see the things that she pointed out. Now, we're not trying to go all the way into this. It's hard not to.
Right.
But like the things that she used as examples are all emotional things.
Yeah.
There was nothing tangible. There was nothing real. It was emotional. And a lot of women feed on their emotions so much that their perception is thrown off.
Right.
Like you really feel like you're a victim. Like you really feel like.
I think what did it
Like-
for me was when the audio came out of her telling Johnny Depp, like, "Oh, you think people are going to believe you?"
Right.
And
Or calling him a baby. Like,
yeah,
how can you
and
play
like
scared
I
of somebody that
I
you're
didn't
challenging?
punch you, I hit you.
Right.
That to me was like, whoa, this is something else,
Right.
and unfortunately, a lot of women do that.
Right.
A lot of women do take advantage of the fact that we're women and that we can get away with stuff.
Right.
And men are taught that you can never hit a woman,
Right.
but then women will go ahead and hit men.
Right.
Things like
And
that.
they make
So-
excuses for it.
and
Like,
then
it's
make
different.
excuses for it and so on and so forth and call it abuse, and it's always on the man.
Right.
So the city boys were up
Right.
on that one. I will give
Right.
you point for the city
All the other
boys.
boys. But I was so traumatized because I've
You
just been in
guys-
those kind of relationships. I've been in
Yeah.
relationships with abusive women. I've been in relationships with women that literally will attack you and
Right.
and play
And
this victim
I
and
will
tell a whole
say,
different story.
I will say, when I was younger, as a young woman, I was taught that it was okay for me to expect certain things from men too, and that I
course,
could
yeah.
say certain things to men too. It wasn't until I got older that I realized that I shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm innocent in my own life.
Right.
But I also will say that I think it's just a society thing.
Right.
Like, you're taught as women, as young women, young girls, that a boy should never put his hands on you, and a boy should always pursue, and a boy, like, you're taught these rules and expectations on what to expect, and you're not taught that men need to also be cared for emotionally and also pursued to a degree, and
Right. And also even just telling women or having the conversation with women about controlling your emotions.
Right.
You're allowed to feed on your emotions, which makes you sometimes nonsensical because
Yes.
it's like, that's emotional. I get it. I feel it. But come on.
right.
Anyway.
Oh, relationships.
No, relationship. Anyway.
And that's what
Flag
we're
on the play. Yeah,
on
we'll have a whole show about that 'cause
today.
there are a lot of things that I think are from that. And even just the fact of her putting real stuff with her emotions.
Right.
Like it just didn't match.
Right.
It didn't like the sound bite. If you're afraid of this man, you don't challenge this man. Like
Right.
if you do that, then you could be in an abusive relationship, but you don't think you're the victim. Like I know ghetto people that are just like, what's happening then?
Right.
Right. And they don't realize that they're in an abusive relationship.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know, it's just different. Anyway.
Right. So
whole other
flag
show
on the
for that.
play. Amber Heard, you got 2. We're starting to date again. Speaking of dating,
Better stop getting
we've
annoyed
been single quite some time, and now we're ready to start dating again. We asked last episode, we asked you guys to give us your markers on what you guys think. Markers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
when you should start back
we
dating,
asked
yeah.
you guys last week to send us your markers on when you think we should start dating again, or people should start dating again. When is a good time to start dating again? And we compiled this week's Kai's list with those answers.
Well, it's our list. When we're trying to take credit for our list that our listeners sent to us.
Well, that's a little section.
Okay.
Anyway, so so we'll read those out loud. Ready? We said, or you guys said, So you guys said. Okay. You know you are ready to start dating again. When? You know what you want in your next relationship. You've reflected on relationships and you know what your goals are. Boom. You are not feeling bitter about your ex anymore. You're finding peace with your past. You feel excited about meeting new people. You've become more independent. You have your own life. And you're willing to communicate and compromise. Share your heart, time, and energy with another person.
Right.
How do you feel about those, JD?
I regularly don't have anything to say about any of them because I think they're all true in their own sense.
Is there anyone that you feel is missing? Of a marker that would let you know?
Not really. I think that pretty much sums it all, but it's really trying to connect to see if you really feel that. I think that's the hard part. It's
Right,
like,
you're not making yourself feel that?
Right, like, because I think you do get lonely, and there's also people there, right? You always have, options, and it's like, and there's also there's people that are ready to go,
Right.
but it's like, am I ready? And it's tough to decide.
Right, because sometimes you could be kind of persuaded into a relationship.
Right, and you're like...
Before you're ready. Boom.
Right, so yeah, no argument all those. That makes it easy.
No argument, you guys. Great suggestion, guys. Thank
Follow
you.
those. What about you? Anything to add? Anything left out on that list?
I would say you've found your peace. You've made, and this kind of goes with you become more independent. You have your own life.
Right.
I think you also have peace in your life, and you know how to create your own peace and your own happiness.
Right.
And I think once you have that, that's a way of knowing not only that you're ready to date, but when you do start dating, if you're ready to be in a relationship, because now is the person adding to that peace or adding to that happiness or taking away from it.
Right. And I think that one's the tough one because it's the classic, first year is amazing. And that second year itch is like, your peace has been ruined. Because at first it's like, oh, we're fun. We're happy to be together. And then it's like, I don't want to do that today. Whoa, hey.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think I found, even in my current relationship, is just I'm good with kind of managing my mentality through the day. And if I can keep my mind where I want it to be, I'm great. But I'm also very affected by everything. Right. It's hard for me to be in the room with somebody and not feel their feelings in a sense. So if you're feeling something, I feel it. And like my son is here and they're like, so I don't really have peace.
Right. Because you are dating. You are in a whole relationship
situation. And two of the three, like they are actually kind of negative. So it's like, I'm hearing negative things. I'm hearing can't. I'm hearing excuses. I'm hearing everything. And I'm like, no. And I start doing it unintentionally. So I just think, I think those are that's definitely important.
That's important, yes.
You have to understand where your peace is so you can realize when it's not peace.
And be responsible for your own peace. Because nobody is responsible for your happiness except you.
Hey guys, this is JD of the If You Know, You Know the show. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all of your support. If you'd like to support the show, our Venmo is IYKYK_this show. Thanks again for all of your support. Thank you for being here. Now back to the show. When you kind of know when it's time to get back dating, as you're single, you're noticing a lot of things, right? You're hearing these, dating mantras. You're hearing...
You go on social media, scrolling through memes.
Social media. I don't know who need to hear this, but if they don't love you, like...
I hate the ones that are the videos and it's the quote and it's like this really like, I by myself. And it's like all these beautiful quotes and you're like, you know what? You're right.
You're right.
If you don't respect me, you are not the one, or the one that's like 5 texts not to send somebody. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to send all these texts. I don't care. I don't care.
So that's what our next part of the show is talking about some of these mantras and, what do we think about it? Are they true? Do they work? Do they not true?
Right.
Are they not? But actually, you said a few of those you found that a professional said are true.
Yes, are true.
So she's going to point those out too. So you'll know that a professional said, I'm of the mindset that there is no way to tell. Right? There is no way to tell.
You think all of them is false?
No, I just think they could work, they couldn't work.
Got you.
Like it may work for some, it depends on you. Right? And sometimes things work for you, sometimes they don't.
All right, let's get into it. Let's dive right in.
Into it. Who am I going
dive
first?
in.
Oh, no, you go first.
Okay. I'll go first. So, mantra number 1, meme number 1. You have to be fully healed to start dating again.
What do you think?
No. You
Why
don't
not?
have to be fully healed.
But don't you feel like you
I
bring it
think
into your
I
next
think
relationship?
healing is a ongoing process. I think it's in the wording. I think
Right.
fully healed,
Right.
you're never gonna. Well, number one, I don't believe you'll ever be fully healed from life.
Right.
That's a whole lifetime. But number two, I think you can heal all you want single,
Right.
but
As soon as it happens.
as soon as you're in a relationship and that mirror is in
Rip
front
that
of
Band-Aid
you,
off.
that mirror is right in front of you, you're like, oh shoot. You start seeing old patterns coming up. So I think you can heal single, but a lot of your healing does come through your relationship.
Right. I think I'm kind of on the fence, but I think I'm going to go with you and go with that one's false.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to go with false. There
Yes.
it is. Yes.
And this is actually false. My
This was
research,
false?
yes, this one
Okay,
was false.
all right. That one really is false. So we're right.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. She knows the
don't know.
answer. So my answers are real. She knows.
Right.
She knows
So I'm
what
going
to
to let
say.
you answer that then before.
She knows what to say.
Okay, next
All right.
mantra meme.
Okay.
Never settle for breadcrumbs, mutual effort, or walk away.
100% true. Right.
Think
But
so?
I think you should always feel that way with anything, with any relationship. Like, you should never take breadcrumbs, but I guess it's identifying if there are breadcrumbs or if this is all they have. Like,
Right.
do you know what I mean?
'Cause then-
but either way, I think you still shouldn't take it. If you feel like it's not enough, you shouldn't go with it.
And I would challenge that and say, what if that's all the person can offer right now? And there's this idea of like
You still shouldn't do it. I mean,
this
it's the
old
same
school
thing.
mentality of like seeing things through and being patient with your partner. Do you subscribe to that or?
I do, because I'm that person. But I also have been in relationships way too long doing that. So
Right.
I think if it can happen at the beginning, it's great. But once I have invested in you, and I'm a man of integrity. So once I say I love you or I'm with you,
You're going to be there.
I have to be there, right? And
Right.
I would feel wrong if I'm not. So I'm gonna have to at least try to see you, like, for what you're telling me. And
So once she started giving you like breadcrumbs and stuff, you
Right.
would still try to see
I
it
would
through.
still try, because I would believe that you may not know, or you're
Right.
trying, and so I'll try to work through it with you. But then
Yes.
there's a point, if I notice that you really aren't putting in that effort, then it's like, all right, so you playing games, so you think I ain't gonna leave? Or, like,
Right,
remember we were saying that earlier?
I'm leaving.
I'm gonna leave
Watch me.
now.
If you do this one more time,
more
I swear.
time.
I swear.
I told you.
Oh, I'm out.
So
And yes,
I have to try to stop doing that.
This
So.
one is
True.
True.
Right? Yeah.
True. This
no
one's true.
breadcrumbs. In any relationship, if they're giving you breadcrumbs as family, like, okay, understand. I don't mean cut them off, but
Right.
maybe not be in their space as often.
Right.
But you should feel fulfilled in every relationship. If you feel like it's breadcrumbs, it's not enough. Go away.
Right. Next mantra. Relationships should be easy. No conflict. If you have to work on it, it's a sign that it's not meant to be.
I'm not even gonna ask for answers because you can't even go with this one. I'm not letting you because there's always gonna be some sort of conflict, and I think the point of being emotionally mature is you understand how to talk to it with your partner or whoever you're with, and figure it out. Like, it doesn't have to be a conflict. So I guess semantics. If you want
Right.
to say that the conflict is coming, regardless of what you do, maybe. But you're gonna have conflict because you're gonna date somebody. They're gonna like something different.
Do you believe that conflict maybe helps intimacy?
I think it
grow?
does if you can talk about it.
Right.
Again, if you can talk about it and you both feel heard and you both feel like you're understanding each other. Like, this is, if you have those conflicts and you're bonding, like, if you're really bonding, it's strengthening.
Right.
But if you're really just yeah,
Right. So-
then it's I don't know. It's
Almost like
hurt.
being able to disagree,
Right.
talk about it, have the conflict, and move
Right.
forward.
and really learn and really,
really learn.
grow. Like,
I feel you.
I really want to know, like, oh, you don't like it.
But some
because
people
of
do
this?
feel, and this is why we're saying truth, we're dispelling these myths. Because
Right.
this is a myth. A lot of people do feel that relationships should be easy.
Like, easy,
You
yeah.
should have no conflict. And once you start having conflict, I need to go.
Right, and that's why.
And that's why this is false.
false. And is it though?
It is false.
Okay, there we
yeah.
go.
You're doing great. Jakey's doing great.
Because I'm a professional.
Okay. Next one. You should always feel a spark.
I'm not gonna immediately go with that one, but no, like, if you have you ever been in a long-term relationship, you know the spark slowly goes away. Not exactly the love.
Sucks.
The love doesn't go away. But that initial spark, like when you see them and you're just like, ooh, giddy, that leaves.
Really?
Like, yeah, but you can still love, like your parents. Like they still love each other. But I bet they don't wake up every day like, oh, like
My parents are a special case. They do.
maybe
They still.
But I'm
cry
saying there are times when it's like I can stand your ass.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
love
that's
you.
true.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's a choice. Like it's not always just gonna be like I want to be with you all the time. There's gonna be times you're gonna have to say, I know what they're trying to do. This is why it's important to understand them. I know what they're trying to say. I get it. It's annoying as fuck. But I love this person. Go ahead. Right?
Right.
You're going to have to be mature enough to do that. And if you're not, then you're going to feel like it's over after, after a year.
Yeah.
'Cause there's no spark. Like,
No.
yeah, I mean, but that doesn't mean it's not love.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
agree.
Again, semantics.
I agree.
If you think love is the spark,
I agree.
Yeah,
I believe that the spark, the initial infatuation, the
Right.
initial chase, the initial nerves
'cause
of
you get comfortable.
will this
like,
person like me goes away. But I do feel like it's replaced with a mature love
yeah,
of
with a
like
mature love.
this person knows me and
Right.
I can be myself and I
Exactly.
feel understood and all
And I
of
think it's extremely important that you know why you're with who you're with, because that's what you got to draw on. Like if you're
Right.
just physically attracted, just Michael B. Jordan in.
Like y'all heard it last week.
Yeah, if you just Michael B. Jordan in it, and when you get comfortable, you're gonna be like, what? Wait, I don't really like your conversation. You
Right.
can't dance. Like you know what I mean? Like you start going through a little like, what am I?
Right. What am I really here?
So anyway.
Bet. So that one was
going
actually
false on
false.
that one.
That one was
Is
false.
it really false?
Yes, it's really false.
I already know that though, but you know what I'm saying? Keep going.
You should never go to sleep angry.
I think there's ups and downs to this, but I don't think you should force it. Sometimes you need to you need to sleep on it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's not an answer at this moment. Sometimes you do have to take a breath, and that means you may have to go to bed mad.
Yeah.
However, if you have a really emotional connection with somebody, I think there's a way to say, I love you. Let's talk about it tomorrow.
Right.
So
That's very mature.
yeah, very,
Very
very mature. And I would love to say that I can do that, but my partner has to be there too. And that was again one of the conversations that I have is I don't want to be the person that always has to come to you, right?
Right.
To do that, because sometimes what if I'm not there?
Right. Like I want you to come to me and be
Right.
like, it's
And
gonna be okay. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow. Okay,
Right.
cool.
And it's not really like a game as much as sometimes you may actually be in a position where you're not as mad as I am.
Right.
And sometimes like I just want to know that you can.
Right.
And I think I don't know. That's
Right. And
how
I think from my experience, you just want to know like this is not the end.
Right.
I do
Right.
have a bit of an anxious attachment type, so I
Right.
just want to know like, are we good?
Yeah. And
Even if we'll talk about it tomorrow, I used to subscribe to this. This is actually false, but I used to subscribe to this feeling of like you should never go to sleep angry, and I would
you force it though. Like
and then you force it, and it's just never. The next morning you're angry again, anyways. I didn't feel like you should go to sleep angry, but what I've realized is that I think it's important what you said, just to make sure that. Okay, this is not the end all be all.
Right.
And we'll be okay. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Right.
Or we'll take a second. And also respecting and that it might be the end, I don't know, just like being okay with it. The conflict happened.
Right.
Hopefully we can talk about this. But it is nice when you can be with someone and have conflict and go to bed angry, but know that we'll talk
And
about
not
this in
even
the
angry,
morning.
but just like, look, we're gonna finish this.
Next one. You are worthy of the relationship you desire.
Factual, 100%.
Absolutely.
100% factual. And I think, but that's why people end up in bad relationships, because I will speak for myself. Because right now I'm feeling like I'm delusional.
Right.
I'm like,
Because it's easy to say that, but it's not easy to say. What if you want a polyamorous relationship? What if you
Right.
want, whatever? Sometimes you're like, well, maybe I'm not
right,
worth that.
right.
And last one on my end, you
I
have
got a
to.
couple.
Yes, you have to be completely compatible with your partner.
No, opposites attract, but I do think you have to have the same mentality.
Yes.
Of some sort, and you have to. One of my favorite phrases is you have to want to live the same type of life.
Right.
Like, what kind of life do you want to live? Like, if you want to just be comfortable and be normal and like not take any new information and just stay at home, never want to go out. Like, you got to be with somebody who wants to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I read something somewhere, speaking of memes and stuff, that said, find somebody who's agreeable with your lifestyle. Going back to you are worthy of the relationship you desire. Once you can identify what those things are, find somebody who wants that too.
Right.
It's really that easy. It's not, but it is.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It'll help you to filter out people and relationships that are not that in alignment with that. Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
What if they change? No, what if that changes? Right? What if you say, like,
oh, yeah.
I want us to be a power couple, and we're both going to be, you're going to have your career, my career, we're going to make money, and we're going to live here. And then, you get to a point where somebody changes and they're like, you know what? I don't know if I even want that anymore.
Right. That's tricky.
How would you respond to that? Do you feel like you would, say, all right, well, I'm still going this way? Or would you want to talk about it?
It's tricky. I don't know. I don't think I've been in a relationship that has been able to overcome something like that.
Mm-hmm. Me either.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think
you just have to
that's
have
a good question
very
to ask.
Emotionally responsible people.
Yeah.
To know that, like, if you change, to me, if I just want you to admit it,
Right.
like that you feel like you've changed, not acknowledge that you did tell me something different.
Right. What I've asked my parents when I've asked, they've been married for 40 years. What I've asked them, and they always say, is that you have to constantly be reinventing yourself, and learning to love the new person that you meet in the new stages in their life. So I think that's like what we talked about, the choices of loving someone.
Right.
Once you make that choice, it's like loving them through their evolution and not having the expectation of like, oh, we said we were going to do this, and that, and being open to what that can mean, and that's why relationships can be so tricky.
So tricky because it really takes.
Because you started off maybe on a certain vibe, and then boom, we changed, we shifted directions, and now. What am I supposed to do if you said we were going to do this at first and now we're not?
That's why I just like to. I feel like if you could just be organic and just realize, like, all right, things are changing. What will we do? Okay,
right.
Like, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
And not it's not a fight. All right. I heard this one on actually another podcast, and I wish I remember the name so I could shout them out. I don't want to steal their stuff, but it was a girl saying that you should never date a guy, but I think it's guy or girl, that doesn't have any day ones or any long-term friends when you meet them. The reason why is because they may not know how to have mature relationships. That's one. Second, that they don't have anybody to keep them in check. Like if Coco tripping, you could say, girl. Like, she's trying to be nice to you. Like, like somebody to keep you in check and keep you accountable. Or else, you'll Amber Heard it. So...
Yeah.
What do you think? True, false?
I agree. I think our friendships are mirrors of our love relationships too. They're intimate. They are people that we are choosing to have in our lives. They're not like our family. They are, they're people that mirror us, that if you're friends long enough, you will have conflict.
Right.
And how are you dealing with that conflict?
Right.
Are you walking away anytime someone doesn't agree with you, or are you working through it? And that maturity, the maturity that comes with developing those relationships, I think they transfer over to your romantic relationships. Yeah. So,
because it's all about emotional maturity. Period. Yeah,
like, and then if it's like if all your friends did you wrong and all your friends ain't ish, whatever, then it's a red flag for me.
Right. And I think it's good for just personal evolution as well, like the ability to grow,
right,
in a relationship. And I think that's just extremely important because you're going to change, you're going to have disagreements, you're going to have problems, and you have to be able to maneuver through those. So
right.
I agree with that one as well. I wouldn't exactly say you end it, but I would say it's a red flag. I don't know.
So why you over here trying to?
No, it's one I heard. I said I liked it. I'm not saying I based my dating life on it, but I think I'm going to go with it. In my, if I end up in the streets again, I'm going with that. So. All right, next one, I should have prepared for this, is you can't make a free spirit a housewife. I had to change that because, women's rights and Me Too and all that stuff. Yes. You could be who you want to be and be with who you want to be. Yeah. But can you make a free spirit a housewife?
Yes.
Because I know you big on your whole phase, so
Not on my whole face. No, but I have
meaning
friends.
you have to have one.
I
So
actually have friends
right.
that were more promiscuous when they were younger, and I think you just get to a place in your life where you're just ready.
Right. Do you like from a female standpoint? What do you think?
Woman's standpoint. I'm joking. I'm
Right. I
joking.
know.
I
You're
don't
right.
subscribe
No,
to that.
tell me. I'm like, I don't know.
It's okay.
Okay. Oh, is it the gender thing?
It's the female. So some people have a problem with being called a female. I personally don't, but you know,
Okay. Woman.
for those women
From a
out
woman's
there that feel that way,
standpoint.
yes.
I mean, I have my suspicions, and I'm not going to say because I'm learning not to speak on women. But do you think that? What do you think is going on there? Like, what's the transition? Like, if you are a free spirit as opposed to being in a relationship, what do you think changes? If you had to assess.
From my conversations and even I guess my own experience, I think it's just where you are in life and what you want. I think when you're younger, people just have mature at different rates. They want different things.
So just maturity, you think?
I think it's just maturity. I think just like men. You know, you have your space. You want to royal. What is it? Soil your oats.
Soil your royal oats.
Soil your royal oats.
No. Shout out Coming to America.
You know, and you want to kind of do all that. And I think some women, sooner than others, you know, want to do that too.
I don't know. I don't want to put men in that situation. We honestly, it is what it is. We just be trying to date. However, I can remember when I was younger that I really I enjoyed.
But not every
being
woman
with
wants to
women.
be married.
Exactly.
Like right out of high school. Like not every woman wants the Prince Charming, and I think
I'm just talking about men. I don't want to make it about just sowing your oats.
Right.
It's just, you know, I enjoyed the company of women, and I notice women, and you know, you still want to. So it's kind of the same.
Yeah, same thing. I think it's like there are options out there, and as you know, like there's a Chris Evans of the world. It's very attractive. I'm putting it out in the universe.
Look, as she stares off into the distance.
If you're Captain America,
me and my
he
friend in
got
high
really
school,
fine. He got really super fine. I don't know.
My friends and I we would call that the. So,
you could put a little picture of him right here.
Wait, Chris Evans. Who's Chris Evans? What is he?
He's the guy who plays Captain America.
You know, I used to drive him. Actually,
No way.
Yeah, I had to pick him up from Vegas once. Like, because he's in Vegas, I don't know why he didn't want to fly, but I had to drive to Vegas and drive back and pick him up. And then a couple of times I had to pick him up from his house, which is really nice, by the way.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man.
In my chauffeur days. But
I'm not gonna front. I'm not normally into white men, but something about him.
Yeah, he got a little something. Him and the other one. What's the one? Magic Mike. He got a little flavor.
Channing Tatum's alright.
Flavor.
Okay, but Chris Evans. Anywho.
All right.
Yes.
This is one that I'm actually subscribing to at this moment. Don't date seriously until you're settled in a career.
Oh.
What do you think?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
While you think,
what do you consider settled? Is it like, do you know what your career is, or you're like,
you know what you're gonna do.
or you're like already doing it, you're successful
you're doing
in it.
You're in motion, you're in it, so when they come in,
have you seen success in it? Does that matter? Is that a factor?
So here's how I'm going to tell you how I break down this answer. I think for men, yes. For women, it's up to you, right? It just depends on what you want. Like, because I feel like the male role, if we don't,
men be wanting a woman that to be in her judge too.
I'm saying, but we wouldn't sit back and just judge you for it. When a man is not on his thing, like here's how I'm breaking it down, right? If you're a man, there's something about security, protection, and safety that comes with being a man that a woman looks to you for. Right. So if you are not settled in something and you don't have your money right, you don't make them feel safe, and so they always have questions and insecurities and all these and it's hard to stop them from being fucking insane.
Right. But in this day and age, also, if a woman doesn't have her career together, men will look at her like, "What are you doing?"
But you're not judged as much as far as we're still gonna be us, right? It may be a personal choice. Right. I want a woman with a career for certain reasons, but
because then her whole world will revolve around you.
Kind of.
That's what you want.
Some men want that. I'm just saying, as far as society is concerned,
yes.
And your emotions, when you're with a guy who's not on his stuff, you always have felt this feeling of nervousness. Like, what if I get pregnant? How are we going to support it? Like, you're always there. And a man would look at you and he's not going to be afraid that you don't have a career. Right. But he may want you to have one.
Right.
Because it'll help. But you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I would say for a man, yes, get your money right, get in your career. That way you actually have a path and you already have your plan. And when they come in, it's just, it's easier to just start there and sustain, to be honest.
Right.
Because I think that's the biggest part. Some women will date you with no career, but at some point it's going to be like, how are we going to support our family? Like, even positive.
So what do you say to men that have women that would date them, despite where they are in their career?
I would say wait. I would definitely say wait.
So like hold those women off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of trust if you don't, because I don't even think they know that it's what keeps them calm in a sense, right? And I'm speaking just from my personal experience, and just I've always been chasing. Like I've never been like, you know what, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. This is the schedule. This is how it is. I've never been that guy. So I'm always chasing, and I'm chasing while still trying to make them feel confident and comfortable. And it's never been an issue as much as like questioning me, but I could just tell in the respect. I can tell in, in trying to say, listen, it's going to be okay. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
Like they're still kind of,
as opposed to you being,
as opposed to if I'm here, like, look, I got it. Like, and it's proof is in the pudding. You don't have that, I know what I'm doing feel. Right, because you don't have it to show them.
Do you feel that even now?
Yeah, I mean, I felt it in every relationship. I've never been the breadwinner in a relationship.
What would you need to do? What would need to happen for you to feel confident about that?
I feel confident. It's about wanting them to feel confident. Like I'm gonna always have. Confidence.
What do you? What would you for that to change? What would you need in place for yourself?
Just, I guess, consistency. And to be able to say this is what it is, and not like this is what I'm going for. This is the plan.
Right, it's already here. I'm in it.
This is it. If you want this is what it is.
Right.
And having that ability to let them settle into what you have, I think is something that I've never had. So I could just be talking out of ignorance, but I do think
I agree.
I do think that it's important for a man to have his life right.
Right.
And because women they will date you.
Yeah.
Right. But they're gonna drive you crazy if your shit ain't right.
I've been guilty of that. Right. I can't say much on that.
But I do want to say in my defense, I've never just been a lazy bum or I've been broke,
You've just been on the cusp.
Right. Because in
you've never quite been in it.
Chasing it. Right.
I agree.
I'll get a job here. I'm doing this. The business is doing good here, but I'm also still trying to do real estate, but I'm not there yet. Like it's always something building.
Right.
And I find myself, and another big point on this, I find myself getting distracted by a woman because I want to keep them happy and keep them pleased, and it distracts from my actual mission.
Right.
So that's actually the biggest one.
We could do a whole show on this.
Right.
Dating app versus real life. We talked about this a little bit last week.
Right.
About the dating apps and so on. Have you ever been on a dating app?
Yeah.
Okay. I have some brief experience.
Right. It didn't work out for me because I'm too comfortable too soon.
Well, what pros? Well, what pros did you notice, if any?
Pros are just options.
Right.
I feel like I'm at the club and they all mine.
What? Right. Oh my god.
That one. and then you start waiting for the messages. Like
that's the funniest thing. That is so funny because
it's like you're shopping.
Yes, I've recently joined a dating app. So with my friends, and we've experienced it. We've been experiencing that. And what's funny is that you just feel so entitled.
Excited,
like you feel like, oh no, not this one, not that one. And we're screenshotting, sending pictures like, girl, look at this guy.
The excitement of what could be is what makes it exciting.
And you're just, and also like judgmental, like, oh, look at him, look at his picture.
The eyebrows.
You can't eat right. Look,
cuts in the eyebrow.
3 cuts in his eyebrow. This guy's wearing shades. You can't even see his face.
Right.
Oh, another one holding a dog. Oh my god.
Right. Look, but I would, because I try to keep my integrity, and I'm religious, so I'm well, not religious, but I have a spiritual connection. So I would be doing that, and then I'm like, God forgive me.
I know. That's how I feel.
I'm sure she's a great person.
That's what I'm saying. You can catch yourself being like this a-hole on there, like, because they can't see. You're not talking to them.
I know. You're not hurting their feelings.
You're not hurting their feelings. You over here just talking trash.
Them, they know.
Right.
You letting them know you shouldn't have.
Right. But karma is a B. So
the other thing I do too is I say, look, I know somebody looking at my picture doing the same thing. So
right, I'm like, oh, that makes me stop. I'm like, oh no, please don't do that. I did have a funny scenario that someone that I work with, I matched with them. Like they kept popping up on my little option. I'm like, X. And then I told them because I guess you set it to your proximity.
oh, okay, yeah.
And then I saw him recently. I was like, we matched it. He's like, yo, I know. he's like, I swear to God, if I saw you one more time. I was like, yeah.
I was like, how did you not know you matched with him? Don't you have to click it? But you meant he kept popping up on your thing.
Yeah, and then one time he popped up like, we think you guys should meet.
Right.
You guys would be a really. I'm like, yeah, we know each other already. He's my friend.
Interests, like I'm sure you guys are. Obviously
we have a
in the same
similar circle. So that was
funny. Do you think
that's
important since we're there? Do you think you should be in similar circles or?
I think I think you should have like a dope. It's not should. I think it's better, funner. It's fun when you can, because I've dated someone who I didn't really have much in common with. Like we weren't in the same like circle type, and it was like.
Yeah, see,
it's just fun when you have the same circle.
I'm not gonna, judge your character in any way, but I actually like a different. Like if you are different, I can get to understand and love what you love too, right?
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm like. I was like, this sounds like I'm trying to be too good, but I really am. Like, like if you like this, like let's go do it. Like if I freaking hate it, I'm gonna tell you, but I'm at least gonna try to experience it. Like if you enjoy this, hey, let's go do that. Fine. Okay, let's go do that. That's fine. But I'm gonna tell you if I don't like it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to, but I would at least try to find some enjoyment in it. And I think I like broadening. It broadens who you are, right? Like,
I guess.
Like unless you're doing something really basic or illegal.
Yeah, I guess. I would say from my experience, it's just funner when the person just gets it. You don't have to explain it. I dated someone who was not in entertainment, and they couldn't understand why I would go to these events, and I'm like. Yeah, and not only he would take it as, oh, you're going out all the time. Right. I was like, it's not just going out.
Right, it's part of the business.
Part of it is I want to go out. Sometimes I just want to go out with my friends and have a good time. Right. Sometimes I want to go to a party where there's a lot of dancers that go. So I want a session because that's part of how I keep my creativity alive.
You know when I'm dancing, I think of you, Kai. Yeah. Like when you respect somebody, and I'm like, oh, Kai would have thought that was because I was like, because you ain't never seen me dance, but I know I got skills.
I've seen you should, do a little sense.
I was like, I got skills. I'm a little rusty, and I'm definitely not on your level. But like,
we gotta go some out with Anna. Anna, we all gotta go.
And I was like, when I look at it, like, oh, God, I would like, because when you dance, I feel like you make decisions that I would make, and even the ones that you make that I don't know, I'd be like, oh, I wish I wish I. So sometimes when I'm grooving, it's like I think of you because I respect your dance. Like,
thank you.
I have a photographer friend. If I take a good photo, I think of him. Like, oh, he was like. So it's a respect thing.
Thanks. It ain't nothing, I appreciate that. No, I know. I get it.
You trying to throw Anna in there?
But see, no. I was saying we should all go out. I'm not gonna be like you and me go out.
Me and Anna be freak dancing like we.
Okay.
We nasty.
Wait till I get somebody.
Right.
And then I'm gonna go.
Like, yeah, we nasty. We dance.
But I'm saying but see even that like I get it because I'm a dancer, so I understand where you're coming from. Right. Going back to this situation, if somebody that's not a dancer, like another woman would be like, oh no, he must be attracted to me somehow. No, girl, there's an inspiration, and going back to going out, it's like sometimes I would go out because I know other dancers are going to be there, and I need to feel that inspiration. Right. Sometimes I go out to network. Right. Sometimes I go out because my friends that are musicians are playing, and I want to feel that inspiration. Right. As a creative, I constantly have to be inspired in order for me to create. Right. It's not all about numbers and business and just this linear thing. No, you have to you have to step back and you have to get out of your daily grind to then immerse yourself in something else to be inspired to then create.
So I think that I would add that little note is having somebody who's able to expand their mind in a sense.
At least try to understand. Yeah.
Or at least try to understand.
I'm not saying you can't, but
right, because you over there like I'm trying to do that.
But I will say that also that relationship did not work out because it wasn't a mutual desire to understand. Like on my end, I
Yeah,
wanted
there
to
you go.
understand his world. So I would
Right.
immerse myself in his world and try to like be in there and ask questions.
Just
And
didn't come back. Yeah.
it wasn't a mutual
I
thing.
already
It was
know who that is.
it was
I
a-
can tell by the description.
it was just like why you doing this? And why you doing that? It's like, bruh, get out.
Right.
Now, how do we know to take it to that next level?
To the next step, to lose your single status. No, we pass out.
Right.
You now have to stop thinking of
Commit.
everything you want, and now you have to think about what do we want.
Oh, I ain't French.
I
gotta-
know.
well, oui.
Parlez-vous le français?
No.
Les oui, oui, on sait danser.
No, oui.
Et la beauté.
You know, we've dated already. We were single. And in our, if we did our single world right, if we did our single life right, we reflected on our mistakes from our last relationship. We did all of the things. We decided, okay, I think I'm ready to start dating. We went on the apps. We went in real life. Are you good?
Yeah, no. I'm adjusting as you talk. It was getting a little hot.
We did all the things, and now we're in a relationship. But what we talked about also is once you get back in a relationship, your partner is a mirror for all the good and bad that you have.
Right.
So now you're going to start seeing patterns of your past. These things don't escape. They don't leave. You can't escape them. And I think that's something that we should all really come to terms with.
Right.
A lot of people think that, they blame everyone else but themselves. And I heard this when I was really young, that it was like, in all of your relationships, the common denominator is you.
Right.
So if you keep seeing the same problems, it's because there's something about you that is contributing. Even if you're constantly getting cheated on. You're not the cheater, you're not the person who's cheating, but you're allowing this to happen. There's a degree of responsibility and accountability that we should all have.
That's exactly where I got the, don't date until you're in a career, because that is the common denominator. And I
Right.
feel like one of the biggest things I feel like I lose is that respect.
Right.
Because they come in, confident James, he's great, he's everything. And I'm like, maybe they start to lose respect because, I haven't gotten myself on a
Right, I
consistent
feel that.
level. And it's like, and I would rather take that than to
Right.
blame the woman, right?
So how do we stop, avoiding these pitfalls, these patterns that come back because they constantly come back?
So when I described it, I hear what you're saying, but I also, the pitfalls of if I see you doing something from a past relationship, I see where it's going, and I'm trying to communicate that with you. Like, if they're not seeing it,
So
what do you do?
Your first line of defense is to sit down and talk about it.
Right.
Acknowledge. I would agree.
Right.
I think
But they're not seeing it. So, and there's no way to help them see it, but to run into that pitfall and then try not to say, I told you so.
But would you try to have a conversation with this?
Of course.
I have encountered that before, and my response was like I was dating someone, it was very new, and he wanted to move really fast, and I was like, hold on,
Right. Slow down.
we gotta chill. This is not it,
Right.
And I think it helped, but I think he still was like trying to, like what you said, it was hard for him to acknowledge that that's what was happening. So we kind of kept going until I had to stop it,
Right.
And I think that's the only thing you can really do is take responsibility for your actions in this space.
Right.
For example, if your new partner is exhibiting insecurities,
Right.
I think for me, I would try to figure out why they're feeling insecure. If I could do anything to soothe their insecurity, maybe they need a little reassurance. And I think people don't realize how important reassurance is. I think we take it as a negative, like, you don't
It's a
need.
negative.
No, but sometimes, if for example, if I'm acknowledging that I am a little anxious and that I grew up where I had to call my mom every time I went anywhere. I had to kind of report myself for reasons that made sense to her.
Right.
And I respected them. So I did that. So say that's something that I need, right? As a partner, wouldn't you want to like try and soothe that?
I mean, like, give everybody that face. Here's why, Kai. 'Cause
But until it restricts your
I understand what you're saying, and I do understand reassurance.
right.
But there needs to be a point where you get it, and I don't have to reassure you anymore. For example, I'll use this as my favorite example. Guy, you and a guy, you're about to be sexual, and he's like, You want to kiss you? Okay.
No,
You
yeah.
want me to go down?
No,
okay.
that's
Oh, should I? It's not different. It's the same thing. You want him to learn and know. You don't want to have to reassure him all the time, but he may need reassurance to know if you like it, right? But it's not sexy. It's not cute. At some point, you have to get it. At some point, you have to feel confident in yourself, and that's a part of being confident. So always needing the same reassurance is fucking annoying.
Right. Okay.
But if it is different, like if you want to check on different things, yes, you need a reassurance. But I can only reassure you for so long. Drake said it best. He said, "I can't prove I love you for a living." Oh my God, it was the best fucking line ever.
That is good. That
Right?
is good. That
New
is
rap
good. I
song.
think, okay, but I guess when I think of reassurance, I think of it more of a, you want to feel like you're still special. Because once you start getting into that, once you start getting into that comfortable, you're comfortable with the person.
But that should never stop. Like the reassurance is not making you feel special. You should always feel special. You should always be number one.
You want to hear that the person misses you and all those things.
But that's not reassurance. That's someone knowing how to love you. That's someone knowing.
But is that not? But I don't think reassurance is a bad thing.
That's what I'm saying. But that's not reassurance. That is someone giving you what you need.
But you're reassuring me that you love me.
Okay, if you ask for reassurance or if you need reassurance, like reassurance is just we're using two different words. Like
right.
In my relationship with Anna, right? She always knows I love her. She always knows I'm attracted to her. I'm playful.
How does she know? Do you tell her?
I tell her. I do it physically.
Okay, so you reassure her.
But that's not reassurance. That's me loving her, right? And that's me giving her what she needs. If you feel like you need that, then the person you're with should give that to you.
Right.
If you are kind of like, reassurance to me is like, you still think I'm sexy? Like, like you're asking questions or you're doing things to create reassurance.
I think that's the same thing.
It could be, but I
think maybe you're saying it with
no, but I'm just saying. Again, I think reassurance. I think someone giving you what you need is one thing.
Yes.
And you needing reassurance is a whole nother thing. But if I'm giving you what you need,
you guys are gonna vote.
Yeah,
our audience is gonna vote. Are we saying the same thing? And he's just like not saying that. I think we're saying the same thing. I think that we're all insecure. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it starts getting unhealthy when we start taking it too far. When we need reassurance every day. When we need to be told you're beautiful every day. No, I don't think that. I think that there's an unhealthy amount of insecurity and jealousy and all that. However, as humans, I do feel that we are jealous people. We are insecure. We have moments of doubt and like all of that. And having a partner that is not only willing to see that and not shame you for it, but also see that and be able to, like what you said, give you what you need.
Right.
As long as it's healthy and it's not like restricting.
There's also a difference between being needy and just also
right, because there's some insecurity that like, I need you to reassure me by not going out with your friends. Then that starts to get to be unhealthy.
I wouldn't see that as reassurance either. I mean,
I'm saying that someone would mask the need for reassurance and the insecurity for like controlling,
right?
And I think that's where it starts to get unhealthy.
I could definitely say that, but I mean, at some point again, you have to believe that I love you. You have to believe that I'm attracted to you,
right?
And there's some point where, again, I'm still gonna keep making sure you feel like you're first, making sure you feel like I'm attracted to you, making sure you feel like I'm interested in you, that I want to know, like I'm here, I want to cuddle with you, like I want all of that, and I'm gonna give you that before you need reassurance. However, you're getting that, but you still like to set up reassurance, or you're still asking weak questions all the time, or you're still checking with me, or like
right.
you like I like scrambled eggs, but you say how you want your eggs.
Right.
Like,
got it. And you're veering more towards the unhealthy version of it.
Yeah, and I just think at some point you have to feel loved and not really need reassurance. If your partner doesn't like
how do we avoid these old patterns? We said talk about it.
Right. You discuss, but I also
talk about it. Do your part in it. Mm-hmm. And if it's still
right, what are we talking about?
How do we avoid the pitfalls?
Oh, I don't know. That's the question.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we just said communicate about it,
right.
Address it. Right. If it still keeps going, then be active in what you can be active in.
Right.
And honestly, if you still if you're with a partner who has displaying the same patterns of an old relationship,
right.
Then it might be a time or a sign to reconsider your relationship before you keep getting deeper and deeper into that pitfall.
Right. But you're already deep in it. So I guess that was my whole dilemma. Is like I sometimes see pitfalls, and I feel like in every relationship I'm trying to stop from getting to a pitfall.
Right.
And I'm in a place.
You're gonna get there.
Huh?
You're gonna get there because you know what? We're humans, and humans suck sometimes.
I know, but again, like it's like, is it wrong to expect that? Like there's somebody that's emotionally confident enough to not have to, like if you said this may be a pitfall, I'm going to say, okay, well, let's, all right. I never saw that, but like, what do you think? Like, did that mean I'm going to just be open to it? I'm not going to fight you.
Yeah. I would say, I would
or for example,
debate that and say that humans, our humanity is very flawed, and the closer someone is to you, it's like getting closer to the sun, and you're gonna get burned. You're gonna eventually you're gonna see me in all of my humanity, and it's gonna suck because I'm not always this aware person. Even in dating, there's I remember telling someone like, yeah, I was being a brat. In retrospect, I realized I was being a brat, but in the moment, I was being a brat. Right. I think it's nice of him to have loved me through that and not like made me pay for it. Right. But at some point, you're going to see my humanity, like vice versa. There was a time where he got really upset at me, and he just, the way he acted was like a child. Right. And I knew he was acting like a child. I knew he was upset. So I didn't hold that against him, But
when it happens, like I said, like it's going to happen again. Like you're going to accept someone for who they are. If you really love them, if you really love them, you're going to accept them who they are. You're going to understand them. You're going to get them.
And in no shape, way, or form.
But that doesn't mean that you can't work on yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like that's all I'm saying.
And honestly, if it starts to get too much, there's no reason to ever stay in a relationship. If it's getting unhealthy, if it's restricting you from your own mental health, if there's abuse, anything like that, you should immediately just like really, truly just walk away.
So just to answer my question, not that I'm really stuck here, but if you feel yourself going to a pitfall, they won't listen. You go to it with them, or you go in the opposite direction? No,
I will do everything that I can. Like I said, I will communicate. I will act accordingly. And if this can't be resolved, I will start figuring out.
I'm gonna leave you.
I'm gonna leave.
I'm gonna go now.
I am, yeah. And I've done that lately, and I feel very happy about that.
All right, so let's lead that right into I remember when.
Yes.
Red flags that you avoid.
But you thought you was at a carnival.
Right.
Because there's so many flags everywhere. You're
she wrote this. She was like, you didn't read it all right, but read it. Read it all. Read it. How do you say?
The time where you saw the red flags, but you thought you was at a carnival. Oh man, yeah. I would say there was
every relationship
when I can, yeah. But I guess once I started becoming more aware of red flags and all of that, I did see the red flags, but I kind of had that same theory or thought process that you have, where it's like, well, let's see where this could go. Right. Well, let's see. Let me try to understand this person. Let me get to know. Let me exhaust all of my resources before I walk away. Right. I will say, in the past, I would do that and kind of be so deep in it that it would be devastating when the breakup would happen. Mm-hmm. But I would say my last relationship, I kind of saw some flags, and I was like, but I was still curious on who this person was, and I gave myself all right, I'm gonna give myself 6 months to get to know him, and I really guarded my heart during that time.
You did. I was there.
Yeah, you were there. And I gave him. I showed up to the relationship. I gave it my best. I did. It's not like I sat back and was like, "So what do you have for me?" No, I was active in the relationship and seeing where this can go. Right. And when the 6-month mark was up, I was like, yeah, no. Yeah. I Lori Harvey'd it and said no.
Right. I will tell you that I saw your red flags from the beginning. Mm-hmm. like I was like, don't.
Right. He ain't it, sis.
Right. I see it. So mine is kind of a double, right? So first, in my last relationship with my ex, biggest red flag, somebody younger, right? At least, I think, how old? I think I was like at least 8 or 9 years older. No, I don't know. I don't remember.
That's how old he was. He don't remember.
Right, exactly. And she was younger. So, but it was like, why? Like young girls love with this vigor, this girlish like beauty, and just it's fun and it's happy and it's and sexually everything is new and great.
Right.
And but the red flag was that, and that's what ended the relationship, because there were things that she needed to grow at that, or experience and grow, and I was there trying to stop her from the red flag, right? In the sense of I almost was not letting her grow because I knew where it would go. But there were things that she needed to learn on her own. There's things she needed to see on her own. And that's why I had to make the choice to end it, because we were both kind of like, she was obsessive and I was optimistic. So we would never leave each other. So I had to make the hardest decision and say, listen, I know there's things you need to learn. I feel like I'm like at the point where I may be holding you back because I know where it's going to go. But you have to experience it.
So I would say another experience just in general is like, in retrospect, I was like, dang, they were mad red flags. Whoa, and I didn't see those, or I bypassed those. But yes, final thoughts.
Before you start, can I remember my point?
Yeah.
I've seen red flags, but they respond to them differently at the beginning. So you'll see a red flag, and it's like, I know this is a red flag. Like, say you have traumas that you haven't dealt with.
Right.
But at the beginning, you're like, we're going to work on it and we're gonna do this. And then they hit a point where they're like,
but it's okay.
No.
Right.
No.
Right. Oh, you didn't call me last night. It's all good.
I was outside. I saw you. It's fine.
Right. Right. You forgot to call me last night. It's okay.
So at the beginning, I've seen red flags.
Go have fun with your friends.
It's a red flag, but we're handling it.
Right.
And then fast forward.
And then it's like, hell, what the fuck? I'm showing up at your crib.
Why didn't I see this? Anyway, so yeah. That was the end of that one. I
agree. Any last
No,
last
I cut you
words on
off
this?
though. Like you were saying.
I was gonna say my final thoughts on the show.
Okay.
Is that after being single, enjoy your single life.
Don't rush it.
Don't rush it. Relationships are a responsibility.
Right.
They are a responsibility. They are work. They're hard work. It's a whole nother job. So if you, like you said, JD, if you don't have your life together or situated in a way where you feel comfortable taking on another job,
right.
Don't get into one.
Right.
And be open about that and communicate that.
Right.
It's your responsibility for yourself and to yourself. And then if you do choose to get into a relationship or date and then get into a commitment, realize that you are responsible for this other person, whether you're a man or a woman. It's a whole other human being that you are taking on their emotions, their insecurities, their past traumas. You are committing to work with them through these things and help them and be a mirror, but also still work on yourself.
And loving them through it too.
Yeah. So
it takes work.
We joke and we laugh and all that, but we love this topic of relationships because it's just so juicy.
So juicy.
It's so juicy, but it is a very serious commitment. Right. It's a very serious thing.
And I would just add to that by just saying, just really be interested in the person that you're with and learn them.
Take your time.
Right. Like if you're not genuinely interested in learning about this person's life and who they are, then you're definitely going to lose a little steam later on. And also, while doing that, remember, take notes, because they're telling you their issues, right? And if you don't remember that, and you could say, okay, she likes this because of this that happened in her life, it makes you understand, and you can work with them more.
Right.
But if you see it like, I don't get it, like if you block it, you're gonna have, it's gonna be conflict all day.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next week. And have an amazing end of July or end of June. Have an amazing end of June. Bye.
Bye. Peace out.